Blood for Paradise, a story by Lord Henry, 7898, Part 2, Funeralopolis. Celsius stared out the window as the car drove through the rainy streets. This city was as far as could be from the paradise everyone talked about. It was cold, it was wet, it was dangerous. It wasn't the place she imagined all through her finals, or her going-away party, or on the flight over.
Not the paradise you imagined, is it?
The Ricari in the driver's seat didn't take her eyes off the road as she spoke. Celsi felt a little embarrassed, but honestly, the large furry alien was right. What was the Ricari's name? Raz something?
Thing is,
Razel said grimly,
this place wasn't nice even before the liberation. And, well, how do I say this?
She stared at the road.
Humans aren't like us. We give them all these little magic tricks and it just makes them angry because we change everything without regard for what they want. The city just got worse. Know what they used to call Baltimore?
Honestly, Celsi couldn't have cared less. She was just staring at some men in mismatched coats and hats and industrial wear, marching down a nearby side street in lockstep.
Are those weapons in those men's hands?
She asked innocently. She had heard the people of this region in particular had a lot of traditions involving weaponry. Razel was suddenly all business.
Where? Over there.
Razel jerked the car to a stop before squeezing the anti-grav vehicle down a narrow alley. Behind them, Celsi could see more humans running by. One carried a lit road flare. Every so often, there were loud pops or staccato clattering.
It's not one of those festivals of color parades, is it?
Razel shook her head.
Nope, we just drove smack dab into the middle of a...
She was drowned out by a distant explosion. Celsi just sighed as a crowd at the other end of the street flipped the transport. In the distance, she could see the pilot struggling as rioters pulled them out from the floating brick. Celsi spent the whole rest of the ride home praying and looking nervously at the angry aliens milling around her. She wasn't even religious, she was just scared. Every so often, one of the humans tried to smash open a window or flip the car. Pray, pray, pray. The goddesses must not have answered because what she saw when she got back to the house made her want to go back to the rioters. Other Dad stood there in the rain, and he did not look happy. Not that he was ever happy to see her. Celsi sighed again as she and Razel started unpacking. You made it, Other Dad said. Great. No, how do you feel, Celsi? No, sorry about making you witness a riot with possible death, Celsi. No, are you okay, Celsi? In fact, he seemed disappointed she survived, though that could have just been his unusual cold face.
You better rest up. School starts tomorrow. Your brother and sisters have been in their classes for a week. Oh yes, by the way, we couldn't get you into a shill-only school in the Shivanti quarters because you were late, so you'll have to spend the year at a public school.
Celsi was aghast. She knew Other Dad delighted in mildly inconveniencing her, but this was putting her in danger. Public schools were where violent crime happened, drug deals, teen pregnancies, shitty teachers. How would she get accepted to Imperia's University with a year in public school on her record?
Don't bother whining to your mother. She's busy.
Oh well. Celsi prepared herself for a tongue-lashing about how she had inconvenienced everyone for some particular reason that made zero sense to her. Earlier that day, Jackie sighed as he looked out the window. It was raining again. It was always raining. Hell, he didn't remember last time it wasn't raining or getting raining. The Shivanti claimed it wasn't their fault. Of course, it never was. He'd wear the hoodie then, and the goggles, in case it was acid rain. That stuff had gotten real nasty these last few years. It was advised to cover mucous membranes when it stormed. As Jackie pulled the tattered old hoodie out of the closet, he turned on the omniscreen stuck to the wall. News, of course. You needed to know what streets to avoid. Worst place to live in the Empire, Sammy Shetter said, looking right at the camera. In other news, we are coming up on the 15th anniversary of the end of the war in Maryland. The screen showed footage of the night Baron Stamatios was assassinated. It was the real famous clip, with Terror Tommy and everything. Today also marks the 5th anniversary of the Mondamin chemical attacks. Wear your gas mask, folks. Just because life's returning doesn't mean you can breathe the air just yet. More footage. This time, people with bandages over their eyes running towards a shaking camera as a white cloud billows behind them. After the break, the Tantan Makut legend grows. This time, the screen played footage of a protest. A number of people in identical white masks flooded the street. They shouted and chanted inaudibly, but a sign read, "Bring our babies back." A number of, obviously Shivanti, riot cops surveyed the mob in the background. That was probably making things worse. Rumor had it that the Shivanti were the ones behind the disappearances. Jackie sighed. That would have made it worse. Rumor had it that the Shivanti were the ones taking the kids. It had happened before. They talked about the Delaware uprising in history class. Obviously, the Shivanti teacher had put a major pro-Shill spin on it, so they hadn't discussed the Ministriva kidnappings at all. Will the Shivanti bother to investigate? Sammy Shester asked. I don't think so. Jackie sighed and turned off the TV. He'd missed the street listings. Oh well. As he made his way through the kitchen, he could see Mom and Dad at the table, worrying about finances again. They acted like he didn't know they were in deep shit, but he knew. Oh well. He grabbed a Pop-Tart, bacon and egg flavor, obviously, brushed his teeth, and he was off. Things, strangely, didn't get better once Jackie was out of the house. In fact, they got worse.
Hey, Jackie, brother!
Called a shirtless man, wielding a rail rifle. A thug in a tank top with all manner of guns strapped to his body stood beside him. You consider our offer? No, Joe and Boris. Jackie had to shout to be heard over their horribly mixed Russian rap rock. I didn't consider your offer, because even if I wanted to fight, you two are such morons that you're making the entire human resistance look bad. It ain't that bad. Tank top. Jackie was pretty sure that was Boris, or maybe Joe, said, We gotta flaunt our humanities. Did he mean humanity? What did art and literature have to do with this? A passing Marine leered at the three of them from across the street. Boris or Joe flipped her the bird. What does flaunting our humanities have to do with you two numbskulls? Truth was, these were the kind of humans you only brought out when you wanted to shame the whole human race. See now, Joe, or maybe Boris, stammered. When you take well... Jackie didn't hear what he was talking, or what happened when he took it, because he turned and walked down to the parking garage. God, Joe and Boris was annoying. Unfortunately, Jack didn't have time to bitch about them. Soon as he rounded the corner, he ran smack into a soft, fuzzy wall of alien woman leaning against the window outside of Poppy's Donuts. The fist, however, wasn't so soft and fuzzy. Jackie tasted blood as he hit the ground. Watch it! The enormous Cortica woman snapped. Oh boy. Jackie spat out the blood in his mouth as he got back up. Perks of living in the most unstable place in the Imperium. The Imperium sent death squads to act as cops, and the Cortica loved the job. Go figure. Oh boy. No. Don't say this, Jackie. He prepared for the worst as he got back up. It's the men. Oh God, why? Jackie's mouth was gonna get him killed. The Cortica lady just stopped in place and stared at him.
What did you say?
Didn't say anything, you must have been hearing things. Jackie belted out as he went for his car. One of the hyena babes threw her arm against the car, blocking Jackie's way.
And where do you think you're going? A little boy like you, out all alone?
Can this wait? I gotta get to school.
Like you're learning anything useful. You men may be weirdos, but you're still men. All you gotta do is cook, clean, and lick your wife's cunt when they call ya. What do you need school for? Boy likes learning so much. I say we teach him a lesson.
Another laughed in their weird hyena laugh. She grabbed Jackie and pulled him away from the car, slamming him against the shop window. She gave that shrieking laugh again as her fist thudded into Jackie's solar plexus. He doubled over as his legs gave out from under him. Soon as Jackie was on the concrete, the other hyenas joined in, kicking and stomping him. Of course, Jackie didn't dare make a sound. That'd only get him a worse beating. Hey! Someone yelled. That someone had a real raspy, gravelly voice. Get off him! A gunshot. The Cortica stopped kicking Jack's shit in, thank God, but they raised their own guns.
You think I'ma stand around and let y'all cunts beat up some kid outside my shop?
Keeping his gun leveled at the Cortica, presumably Poppy, reached out and pulled Jackie to his feet.
Now you ladies fuck off, and if you come back for me, you better be bringing a whole fucking battalion, you hear?
The hyena scurried off. Jackie felt for his ID. Shit. Now he couldn't go to the hospital. People who went there without ID were automatically turned over to the interior as potential resistance.
Not you, boy,
Poppy, presumably, said. The man was old. He looked so old he could have fought the Shivanti when they first came, in the early days of the liberation. Even thinking the term filled Jackie with bullshit.
You need to get patched up.
He threw Jackie's arm over his shoulder and led him inside to the back office. Once Jackie was sitting in the deliberately uncomfortable swivel chair, Poppy went and got some ice. Thanks. Jackie slapped a bag of ice over his eye.
You need to be more careful.
Poppy opened a box. He sat a needle and thread on the table, followed by some of that real good Shivanti anesthetics.
What? Sometimes resistance fighters that patch up leave me some supplies.
He shot Jackie up and started in on that gash on his forehead. Just as well, head wounds always bled, and this one was dripping into Jackie's eye. Hey, them Corticas the ones that can't take no joke.
Maybe.
Poppy cut off the excess thread.
But you should know that.
He put the box away.
Now you're here. Might as well have a donut.
What the hell? I'm already late for school. Might as well.
I recommend the Old Bay ones, or the bacon maple.